Hey everyone, welcome back to today's episode of YYC Business Speaks. Today we are here with Christina Matthews and she is with Macphail Harding. Hi Christina.
Hi, Julia. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for coming on this show. How are you doing today?
Not too bad. How are things over there?
Yeah, they're doing great. Just peachy. You
Good.
cool if we just jump right into the questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. So tell me a bit about your business.
So I am practicing primarily in family law. I've had my own business for 5 years, and I've been practicing for a total of 6 years. I do offer a little bit of services in civil litigation, and civil litigation is essentially a civil matter that goes to court. So it does complement family law very well in that way.
Okay. Okay, so do you do litigation mainly or do you do like, I don't know, the other part of law as well?
Um, Primarily litigation. With family law, you're going to be in the court system most of the time, or at least with the files that I have. We do obviously explore other avenues for resolution, so such as mediation, arbitration, and I am ethically obligated to try and exhaust other out of court resolutions before taking matters to court. It's just with family law files, it tends to be pretty contentious. So that's why I say a lot of time we're in court.
Right. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Who's your best customer?
I guess, I really enjoy helping people that are involved in parenting disputes. It just tends to be the most rewarding because in my mind, I'm really impacting the child or the children's lives going forward, right? It also tends to be the most emotionally charged, so it can be a stressful area, but I do really enjoy assisting people with parenting disputes. So, what that might look like is a private action between two parents that are fighting, or it could also involve child family services. So, with the government being a party to the action, if there are safety concerns.
Right. Okay. So then do you do pretty well with like the emotions that fly in those kinds of disputes and stuff?
Yeah, I feel like I have a pretty good poker face.
Awesome. I love it. Okay. What's been the greatest impact the pandemic has had on your business?
Well, the law is pretty behind with the times. It's one industry that doesn't really evolve much in terms of technology. So with the pandemic, we have had to move everything online. So we've been doing court appearances virtually, much like on a platform much like this one. So I have my first medicine hat file next week, and I've never appeared in medicine hat family court, so that'll be
Oh,
interesting. So yeah, it's just the process is very different now. It's essentially all online unless you have a trial and your physical appearance is necessary. Um, it's also allowed me to practice in other areas, which is kind of neat. Just to kind of get a sense of what the courts are like, what the bench is like. So it's been interesting for sure.
right. Okay. And then so what are one or two actions that you've made to adapt along the way with your business?
Um, I created my first Zoom profile, which I know sounds maybe silly because I'm not super old and probably should have had one anyway. But yeah, I meet with clients now regularly on Zoom. A lot of clients prefer that because it's just really efficient. I'm also signing affidavits and stuff over Zoom because that's now allowed. Uh,
Wow.
prior to prior to the pandemic, you weren't allowed to have copies of signed documents. It had to be an original signature. So that's kind of a new practice. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the Zoom thing would be the main change.
Right. Do you find that the results are the same in person versus on Zoom?
It's a it's a different kind of advocacy. It's easier to shut me up on Zoom. If I'm in court physically and I'm standing up and I'm making submissions, it's harder to quiet, to silence the lawyer and make the lawyer go quiet. So for applications that I have felt have been weaker, I have tried to physically go in person because I do think there is a tactical advantage there.
Mm,
But like I said, the courts don't really want you to attend in person, so it's not something that I do really, unless I can, right? And it's not something that's really permissible now. A couple months ago, they were tolerating it more, but less so now. It's also really awkward sometimes because with Zoom, as you would know, your voices will cut each other out if you talk on top of each other. So if I'm trying to say something and then the judge is trying to say something, it's kind of hard to know if they actually heard what I responded with, right? So it's like I said, it's definitely a different kind of advocacy.
Wow. That sounds really cool from my end of things. I'm like, that sounds so, because like, yeah, like you said, it's one of those things that you never would have pictured
Yeah,
wouldn't be
definitely.
a thing
Yeah,
that you could do in person.
yeah, definitely.
That's really cool to hear your side of it and how that's playing out.
Yeah, thank you.
Neat. It's been said that smart people learn from their own mistakes, but wise people learn from the mistakes of others. So, what's one or two mistakes you've made along the way in your business that other entrepreneurs can learn from?
Um, I think it's, this is something that's probably especially true for law, but probably for any entrepreneur. Sometimes it's hard to establish boundaries with clients because if you're running your own business, regardless of what industry it's in, there's this tendency to want to just say yes to everything that walks through the door. But sometimes saying yes is not to your best interest, right? It might not be the best fit
Mm.
client wise. It might just be out of your scope of practice or services. And I just feel like there's this constant desire to say yes to whatever walks through the door. So with me, if I could, you know, give a message to my younger self, I probably would say, be firm with boundaries and establishing, what's appropriate and what's not, regardless of how you're concerned it may turn out. Right? You need to be true to yourself and your business model. Right?
Hmm. So, what's it taken for you along the way to, discover those boundaries or to really establish them?
I guess a lot of long days and nights just working, right? Because you want to
Mm.
accommodate, you want to say yes to the work, but if you have other things on your plate, you obviously still have an obligation to satisfy your existing clients while taking on new responsibilities, right? So, long hours for sure, I would say.
Right. Okay. So, knowing like how many hours that you got to work or like what's already on your plate to do, and then looking at, when you get your next file, whether you're like, okay, do I have time for this or when do I have time for it? And then speaking to that accordingly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's really good. Cool. Where can people find you, Christina?
So I practice at Macphail Harding, and like most lawyers, I respond best to emails. So if you do want to get in touch with me, email is definitely best.
Okay. And then can people find your email on your website?
Yes, it should be on there, and I can share it with you now if you like. It's C Matthews, so that's Matthews with two T's at macphailharding.com.
Okay. And then you guys have a website?
Yeah,
Is that just mcphailharding.com?
yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Is there anything that you'd like to offer our viewers?
I guess I would say, we're all dealing with uncharted territory, right? This is a very interesting time for a lot of people. And in my world, in the family law world, it seems to have really amplified the stress and have caused people to consider divorce or, a breakdown in their relationship, which may not have been the case before. So I guess I would say, you, try and be kind to one another because everyone is stressed right now, right? Everyone is worried about what's to come and what the future is going to look like. And, at some point, hopefully it will end. But yeah, it's just, I'd like to leave with the message that we need to try and be kind to one another.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, one last question for you.
Sure.
What's most inspiring to you today?
Um, I don't know. I guess ever since I was a kid, I just always wanted to be an advocate and I like standing up for people. And so that's really what inspires me. A lot of people They say I have a lawyer voice, which really comes into effect when I'm making submissions. So I don't know. I enjoy standing up for people and making sure that, what should happen does happen. So that's really my inspiration in my day-to-day profession.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. It's always awesome to see someone in business or working their craft, and it's really something that like they love to do, where it's something that inspires them every day. Right?
Yeah,
It's like that makes you someone that I would want to work with if I was
totally. Yeah,
dealing with that situation. Right.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. I love it. Cool. Okay. Well, thanks, Christina, for coming on the show today.
Thank
Um,
you.
is there anything else that you'd like to say before we end?
Nope, I think that summarizes everything.
Okay. Awesome. We'll see you later then. Thanks,
Okay, thank
Christina.
you. Take care.
Bye.